Hi, today we are going to talk about the circulatory system. God has designed each cell to function perfectly, to do a job. But in the process of doing this work, each cell gives off waste material that it doesn't need anymore. But if the waste starts piling up, then the system gets poisoned and dies. So there has to be a way to get rid of all of these waste materials. For the vocabulary today, we have the word atrium, okay? Atrium, it's one of the upper chambers of the heart. So it's like an upper room in a sense that receives blood from the veins and forces it into a ventricle. So this would be here an atrium, and this would be the other atrium, okay? Then we have the word hemoglobin. It's an iron compound in red blood cells. It's what makes blood red. And then we have ventricle, okay? Ventricle is one of the lower chambers of the heart, these ones here. We wanna make some circles, and from which blood is forced into the arteries. Don't worry if it's a little confusing yet, you're still learning, so we'll keep talking and now it's gonna make more sense little by little. So blood, it's the life fluid of the body. It's really important. And blood carries with it many things: digested food, oxygen, and nutrients to each cell. Okay, wait, I'm gonna fix this here. Okay. In return, each cell dumps its waste products into the blood for removal. So you can think of the blood like a delivery system. The blood is part of the circulatory system, and the circulatory system, it's the heart and the veins, arteries, capillaries, and blood. The circulation system works with both the digestive and the excretory systems that we're going to learn later. And it has a pump and tubes which transport the blood to all parts of the body. The pump, it's the heart. And there are three kinds of tubes: arteries, veins, and capillaries. And the tubes carry the blood through the body. The heart, that's the most important part. It's a muscle and it's about the size of your fist, so your closed hand, that's about the size of your heart. It's close to the center of your chest, but to the left. And your heart is protected from injury by ribs. So if you bump yourself against something, your heart's not gonna be damaged. The heart has 4 chambers. Like I explained in the vocabulary, it has 2 upper chambers that are called atrium or atria. And then both receive blood. The right atrium over here receives blood with waste from your body. That's the blue part. And the right atrium and the left atrium receives purified blood back from the lungs. That's the red part. Okay, so whenever you see red in these drawings, that means arteries. Whenever you see blue, it means veins. The 2 lower chambers, these ones here at the bottom, they're called ventricles. Ventricles are the pumping chambers. Remember, pumping means that they contract like this. They have strong muscles that pump blood out of the heart. The right ventricle pumps blood to the lungs. So this one pumps blood to the lungs, where it can receive oxygen. And the left ventricle, this one over here, pumps the oxygenated blood to various parts of the body, so gives oxygen to the body. The heart chambers are separated from each other by a valve. This one here, I'm gonna draw so you see. This here would be a valve, and here is another valve. Okay, and these valves only open one way. If the valves are not opening or closing in a right way, then the heart has a condition called a heart murmur. The blood enters the heart by large veins, the superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava. The superior brings blood from the upper part of the body and the inferior from the lower part of the body. The blood flows to the right atrium, then passes to the right ventricle, okay? So it would be something like this. Here, and then crosses the valve, and here, okay? Then the blood goes through a set of valves into an artery, the pulmonary artery, which carries the blood to the lungs. So it goes to the lungs. After the blood, it's returned to the heart by the pulmonary vein. And that vein goes into the left atrium. Okay, so from here it goes to the lungs, and then it comes to the left atrium, and then into the left ventricle. The blood then goes to the aorta and to various parts of the body. So you see it's a circuit. The heart is controlled by nerves and by chemicals. In the right atrium, there is a set of special muscles and nerves, okay? And these ones make something called a pacemaker. So it keeps and controls the beats of the heart. You can feel your pulse or your heartbeat placing your fingers like this on your wrist or on your neck to the side. To know your pulse rate, you can count your beats in 1 minute. The average is about 72 beats per minute, but it can change depending on physical activity, if you're taking any drugs, I mean medicines, not real drugs, but medicines, or rest or stress. So if you are stressed, for example, your heartbeat is gonna be fast. And then arteries. Arteries, and here represented here by these red tubes, are large tubes that carry blood away from the heart. So arteries take blood away from the heart, and veins return blood to the heart. The main artery leaving the heart is called the aorta. Arteries have thick walls. You can see here that these are thicker than veins, but they are very soft and stretchy. Arteries have muscles that help move the blood along. They relax and they contract at the same time as the heart beats. So they help move the blood. And nerves control this work. It's not as something like you do it consciously. And then we have veins. Veins are tubes that carry the blood back to the heart. They are thin, they have thin walls, they're stiffer and less muscular than arteries. The blood moves towards the heart by the pressure of the heart pumping, and thanks to the muscles squeezing the veins, forcing the blood to the heart. Valves keep the blood from flowing backwards. All veins carry blood that has the cell waste product, carbon dioxide. That's what cells don't need. The blood in veins is called deoxygenated blood, or meaning blood that doesn't have a lot of oxygen. Veins are close to the surface of the skin and they appear bluish in color, but in reality, the blood in veins is a really dark red. And then we're going to talk about capillaries. Capillaries are very thin wall tubes that connect arteries to veins, and I'm going to show you here. So this one would be capillaries, okay? And it's important that they connect arteries and veins. And the walls of these tubes are only 1 cell thick, so they are tiny, tiny, and they are everywhere in the body. And these thin tubes let the food and oxygen and waste to move between the bloodstream and the surrounding cells. Whenever you prick your skin and some blood appears, you have broken a capillary. Also when you have bruises. Okay, blood. This is really cool. Humans have about 12 pints or 6 liters of blood in their body. The liquid part of the blood is called plasma, and it's actually yellow. It's mostly water, and then it has a little bit of cell waste and digested food and salt. After we eat, the amount of food in our blood increases. And when we exercise a lot, the amount of salt in the blood decreases. Blood also has cells that maintain our bodies. We have red cells, we have white cells, and then we have platelets. Red blood cells have no nucleus. They are red because they have an iron compound called hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is necessary to carry oxygen to the cells and carbon dioxide away. When iron is low in the blood, then you have a sickness called anemia. Anemia makes you weak because you don't have enough oxygen in the body cells. So you don't have a lot of energy either. Hemoglobin likes to carry a gas called carbon monoxide, which is the same gas that cars give off. They like to carry that better than carry oxygen, but this gas is very dangerous. So it's important to stay away from the exhausts of the car, like that tube that they have at the back, that give off carbon monoxide. If you breathe carbon monoxide, then your body is going to carry that instead of oxygen, and you are not going to have oxygen to be alive. You would suffocate, you would die. Okay, then we have white cells, like this first picture here. So white cells fight germs and diseases. They surround germs, kind of like you can think about the security of the body, and they don't let them work. Sometimes white cells die fighting these viruses or germs or disease, and then they become pus. There are about one white cell for each 600 red cells. So it doesn't, when you listen to that, it doesn't look like much, but you have about 8,000 white cells for each drop of blood. So you have a lot of security in your body trying to keep you healthy. Platelets, on the other hand, it's a blood clotting cell. It means that whenever you have a cut, they start repairing it. They block the blood from coming out. They have an irregular shape that allows them to cover holes to prevent blood from escaping. And then blood, remember, it has four main functions. They fight germs, it removes waste from cells, they carry oxygen, and then they also transport digested food. And then we have the blood types. People have different blood types. The basic ones are A, B, AB, and O. If you don't know your blood type, you can ask your parents, because it's one of the first things that you find out when you have a baby. Okay? We inherit our blood type from our parents. You have to have the type of blood of one of your parents. Since there are different types of blood, you can't give or accept blood from everyone. For example, sometimes if you have a surgery or if you're really sick, they have to put blood from somebody else into your body. But if they put blood from another type, you can get really sick, because your system would think that it's not blood, it's something else that's trying to make you sick, and your system starts fighting this new blood, and you could get very, very sick. So it depends the type of blood, what type of blood you can receive, or to whom you can donate blood if you want to donate blood. Type O blood is known as an universal donor. It means that they can give blood to anyone, but they can only receive it from another type O. And then type AB blood can receive blood from any type. So they're really lucky. If they have an accident, they can have blood from anyone, but they can only give blood to the same group of blood. It is known as the universal receiver. I myself, I'm a blood type A. What about you? What type of blood are you? Would be cool if you ask your parents if you don't know. And then healthy blood, it's a sign of a healthy body. When you are sick, one of the first things our doctor does is take a blood sample. When he studies it, many times he can find out what is happening, what is going on in your body. And here it's a little chart of different types of disorders and what causes it, and how can you cure it, and how can you prevent it. For example, high blood pressure. And it's a disease that you have, and it can be caused by tension, by being old, by smoking. And then how you cure it? Medication. How you prevent it? With exercise, with good diet, by being relaxed, okay? And there's a whole chart. I want you to check it. And if you have any questions, you can let me know, okay? Bye.